Page 1.
God kadra mampako Kie ki jesu da ye sheke la chi shesu sa Guru pema sidi ho hong wo jen yo jin no cha sam pema gesa dapa ya chen choking a drum ne pema jan ne shesu da kwa de kandra mampa kye ke jesu da ta shinke la che shesu sa Guru pema sidi ho Kunzan dosem
Page 3.
shirisi pe makara jebani shunga so zon yup na tetan gamsa so kate lama nama sawade Samantha Bhadra, Vajrasattva, Garab Dorje, Sri Singha, Pamasambhava, and your 25 disciples, king and subjects, So, Zua, Nyuk, Nyak, 100 discoverers of Terma, lineage lamas of oral transmissions and revealed spiritual treasures. To you we pray.
Page 5.
Yenke Podrane, Dusa Sanje Kunching Awani, Ransan Chukung Atsun Tanze Pa, Sawe Lame Shabla Sawade. Within the mansion of awakened awareness, the highest heaven, we pray to our root source of guidance and blessing, the embodiment of all Buddhas of past, present, and future, who points directly to our own awareness as Dharmakaya. Palde Tsawe Lama Rinpoche, Dage Chio Peme Den La Shu, Kaden Champa, Gane Jason Te, Kusa Tuging Adra Selder So. Resplendent root guru, precious guide, enshrined on the lotus seat upon our heads and in our hearts, nurturing us with your warmth and kindness, please transmit your realization of awakened body, energy, and mind. Beginning as always with breathing. Relaxing, settling, centering, arriving. Letting everything settle. Letting go means letting come and go, letting be as it is. Just settling, arriving, letting be. Second, intensifying. Following the out-breath, letting go a little more with each out-breath, relinquishing a little death with each out-breath. Sky gazing, space mingling, infinite dissolving. Seeing through all illusory, impermanent phenomena and mind stuff. Seeing through oneself, seeing Buddha, being Buddha. Awareness, aware of awareness, an uncompartmentalized totality, completeness. This breath, only breath, this moment, only moment. Imaho. Sky gazing, space mingling, infinite dissolving, awareness, feeding and nurturing awareness. present awareness, nowness awareness, the real Buddha within. Openness and awareness inseparable in the natural state, the natural perfection of things left just as they are. Resting, open and aware, in luminous, senseless openness, incandescent presence, awareness alone. Right now. If the mind wanders, if you're agitated or distracted, or on the other hand, discouraged, bored, dazed, sleepy, take a deep breath and refresh the corpse of wakefulness and start again, fresh, vivid, attentive, aware, mindful, alert, and aware. Take a deep breath and start again. Breathe out and lightly follow the out breath, the principle of releasing. Awareness, aware of awareness. Mind transparent to itself. Open, empty, intangible, yet lucid, radiant, aware, and freely responsive, not suppressing anything, nor indulging in trains of discursive thinking. Aware of whatever momentarily presents itself in the continuum of consciousness, and letting it go, like ripples on the stream, like clouds passing in the sky, like mere reflections in the magic mirror of mind. Letting go means letting come and go, letting be, as it is, natural flow, natural wakefulness, natural great perfection. Things left just as they are. Imaho. Om Benza Satu Samaya.
Page 18.
Benza Satu Tena Pati Satvita Meba. Satakaya Meba Wa. Sapakaya Meba. Meba Wa. Savasiri Mega. Vakama Sita Me. Sita Sriya Guru. Ha 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 ho Bhagava. Sava Tata Gata Vajra Mame. Vajri Bhava Ma. Samaya Safa. Om Benza Satu Samaya Manupalaya Vajra Safatena Pati Sadrita Mebawa Sutakaya Meba Sutakaya Mebawa Anarata Mebawa Sava Siddhi Maitreya Sava Kama Susame Sita Surya Kuru Bhagavat Sava Tathagata Vajra Mame Mansa Vajra Bhava Ma Samaya Safa O Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Tena Pati Sadrita Mebawa Subhakaya Meba Subhakaya Mebawa Adorata Meba Savasiddhi Maitreya Sava Kama Susame Sita Sriya Kuruha Ha 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 O Bhagavat Sava Tathagata Vajra Mame Mansa Vajra Bhava Ma Samaya Safa Ah 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 Ah
Page 21.
Guru Rinpoche Ngajra Kanda Dewa Champa Shab Bache Kutsa Dudu Drapa Sa Sawa Dev Sa Shinki Vam Du Sa Chinang Sawe Bache Shiva Daha Sampalunje Pashekela. Precious guide, one with all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future, blissful presence and source of all spiritual accomplishments, fierce destroyer of illusion who dispels every obstruction. We pray to you for blessing and inspiration. Please remove all outer, inner, and secret obstacles and spontaneously fulfill our aspirations. So Nam Diye
Page 22.
Zipane Tamne Ne Pe Drana Pamjene Ngega Nachi Bala Trapaye Sipe Sole Drawa Sham. By the power of this virtuous practice, may the real enemies, our own projections and misdeeds, be overcome, and ultimate vision fully attained, so we may free beings from the miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, the stormy waves of the ocean of samsara. Gewa diye nududa zaba chepa drabjane drawa chicha malapa deye salagapasha. By this virtue, may we swiftly realize and fully embody the natural great perfection, and thereby bring all without exception to its complete realization. Jancha Sancha Krimpoche Makye Panan Kekyochi Kye Panyan Pa Me Paya Gane Kandu Pelwasho. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. Where is Druksha Rinpoche's short prayer?
Page 15.
Thank you. His Holiness Gyalwang Drukpa's prayer. I call on you, my teachers, regard me with compassion. I sincerely wish to receive your blessings. Please regard your child's longing desire. Please bless me with the resolve to attain realization. Please bless me to have a steady and smooth mind, so that for this life and those to follow, as a true practitioner whose heart and mind are in accord, the special intention to help others is spontaneously present. May I be able to benefit measureless beings. Without the toxic stains of a competitive mind, without the intoxicating liquor of anger and lust, may I be able to practice the peaceful and soothing Dharma. Through listening and thinking and examining, especially about those teachings I practice, may I be able to precisely determine their meaning. Raise the victorious banner of ultimate practice, may I be able to accomplish great service to the Dharma. This is the way I pray all the time, and I request all of you to support my prayers. Homage to the innate great perfection. May all realize it and be benefited by it. I very much appreciated hearing Sherab Tulku Rinpoche's Dharma talk this afternoon. It's so marvelous, isn't it, to hear the Dharma from different people, the same wish-fulfilling jewel, the joyous Dharma of liberation and awakening in different ways, different forms. As the Buddha himself said, just as wherever you taste the 7 seas, there is only one single savor, saltiness. Wherever you taste my Dharma teachings, there is the single savor of liberation. There are so many dharmas and dharma teachings and ways of explaining. I loved hearing something actually original today, which I want to highlight and underline since I'm running out of things to say after talking and teaching here for days and days. And I know for some of you it seems like years and decades. Or a fresh subject, the food of samadhi. Of course, it's a quote from the sutras, the food of samadhi that nourishes our wakefulness. But specifically, how awareness nourishes awareness. That was marvelous. And remembering to remember so that we don't forget that we've forgotten. That was marvelous, and it was original, and it was tight. It was pithy instruction. Please collect it and put it in my next book, put it under my name. Whoever's taking notes, he won't mind. Awareness feeds awareness. Is that not the essence of our practice? Awareness, aware of awareness, Rigpa practice, naked awareness practice, Nowness awareness, presence of mind. Bright attention, lucid awareness, coupled with alert presence of mind, aware of whatever momentarily appears, and aware that we're aware, looking into the seer and the seen and the duality supposedly between them, looking into who or what is aware and tracing back the source of all this radiance, all these projections. As we do in the Rushan practice of self-inquiry, who is experiencing, making the subjectivity the object of our attention, turning back towards our true selves, see who's doing what around here. Awareness, aware of awareness, not me looking at you. Self, object, and interaction, the bumper cars of the three spheres in Buddhist psychology: self, other, and interaction. Subject, object, interaction, karma. But awareness, aware of awareness, there's no bumper cars, there's no crashing, there's no conflicts. The underlying continuity is there. The overarching wholeness is there. Awareness transparent to itself, self-reflexive awareness, self-knowledge is there. Not being pulled off our Buddha seat into dualism, reaching out for what we think we need, pushing away what we think we would be better off without, pushing and pulling, attachment and aversion, two gestures of the same dualistic clinging or fixation, attachment, like a door opening this way or this way, same thing. Wearing ourselves out, pushing and pulling, being pulled off of our awareness seat into dualism. Somebody asked today, if I remember correctly, which is doubtful, how did all this come about? How did awareness fall from its seat into dualism? How did it all happen? As the Lama said, there are many theories, and it's very interesting, and you can look at it and read about it ontologically and teleologically. Where did it all come from, and who created it? And as they say, samsara is beginningless and endless. But there's another Tibetan saying that samsara is beginningless, but it ends in nirvana. Nirvana is endless. It's very interesting, but it doesn't do us much good. As he said, it doesn't do us much good. It's very theoretical. It's all on the conceptual level, interesting as it may be. Why get lost, though, in this tangled jungle of theory and doctrine when we can rest at the origin of all things, as Chang Tzu called it, rest in the sunlit clearing at the center of the entire jungle, of the 9 yanas, of all the approaches, all the philosophies and practices, the sunlit clearing at the center of our own heart and mind, in the now, the empty, radiant, unobstructedness. That is the 3 kayas, the 3 jewels, the 3 kayas, the Mahamudra refuge within ourselves. For those of you who are familiar with that, we've talked about that last year. Emptiness, radiant lucidity, and unobstructed responsiveness, inseparable. The 3 kaya nature of our mind, the Mahamudra meditator's refuge. The sunlit clearing at the center of the jungle of Namtok, of thoughts and concepts. For it's not outer objects that entangle us in the rope, it's inner fixation and clinging that entangles us. We have to notice that and take responsibility for that, to put it in English. We entangling ourselves, we nibbling at the bait and biting and being hooked and pulled out of our element. That's how awareness strayed into duality. That's the story that we didn't hear today. Of course, the Lama knows this story. But he had his script that I gave him before he came in to follow. And being a one-upper, now it's my turn. That's why I went after. He was just a warm-up act. Now you get the real thing, the real diva, the most humble and modest of all the great divas and prima donnas of the Dharma, which are many. He inspired me also. He's become a great friend. We've had lunch and dinner together, and now we have run out of gossip, and we're getting down to Dharma stuff. In Tujun Rinpoche's great little book, in Longchenpa's great little book, The Four Themed, The Precious Garland, commented on by the late Tujun Rinpoche, they talk about how awareness falls off its seat, strays into dualism by mistaking things as other, reaching out, by smelling the bait, biting and being hooked into dualism. That's us. How the primordial Buddha, or innate awareness, Rigpa, is diluted by the momentary obscurations that arise, rather than maintaining the view, as we've learned. View, meditation, leading to proactive Buddha activity, not reactive karmic activity. So in this practice of Dzogchen, Tregchud, cutting through, seeing through, or being through, seeing through all momentary, dreamlike, ownerless, impermanent phenomena and mind stuff, noumena, and resting in the awareness itself, open and aware, not grabbing and not pushing away, and seeing those tendencies arise and seeing if we can let go of them. Having an awareness intervention between stimulus and response. Even if we smell the bait, juicy, scallop, shrimp, worm, let me see what it is. Even if we nibble it a little, if we're a skillful nibbler. Dzogchen are skillful nibblers, enjoying everything, but not biting, swallowing it whole, and being pulled out of their element into dualism, dying, flopping, like fish out of water who can't breathe. We're hearing sounds and nibbling at it, enjoying that, rather than thinking about it too much, biting and being pulled out into, why don't they stop mowing the lawn now? Why don't they stop? Why doesn't that person stop, what was it this afternoon, sniffling or whatever, they're coughing, whatever they were doing? Why doesn't that guy up front stop talking so much and let us meditate? Or whatever. Dualistic fixation. The dance of duality, liking and not liking, based on the root klesha of ignorance, the root poison of ignorance. Ignorance about non-separateness. So in this practice, the practice of freedom, getting used to modeling it, reenacting the autobiography of the primordial Buddha, leaning back, relaxing, leaning back into awareness, let awareness support and carry you, as I mentioned yesterday. As we get used to it, we don't have to carry it around everywhere, trying to walk in slow motion like a zombie to carry our mindfulness towards the door. Just doing what you're doing, the gravity of awareness will carry you, especially once you get more and more used to it, which is practice. Repetition, as the Lama said today. Excuse me, repetition. Continuity is the secret of success, as my first meditation master, Goenkaji, always used to say. Continuity is the secret of success. He spoke English. He was Indian. Continuity is the secret of success. How many times have I heard that? It's really stayed with me over all these years, with all of my erratic jazz-like zigzagging. Practice is perfect. We just do it, not hoping something will happen. Practice is its own reward. The practice of freedom, allowing things to arise and dissolve by themselves, as we've learned. Self-arising, self-releasing, Rangsha Rangdral, self-arising, self-liberating. Like the ripples on the stream, we don't have to iron out the waves of the ocean. The ocean's fine and it's unmoved in its depths anyway, and it never leaves its bed. unimproved, whether it's stormy or quiet. We don't have to iron out the ripples on the stream. We don't have to stop thinking. That's just another temporary state anyway. Awareness of thoughts is meditation. Mindful of thoughts. Mindfulness of sounds. We don't have to close our eyes to meditate. If we have to close our eyes to meditate and concentrate, what about our ears? We need earplugs. What about our mind? We need mind plugs. See, we're running in the wrong direction. That's why I love Mahamudra and Dzogchen practice, open and aware. Very integratable in daily life. We practice with eyes open, ears open, nose open, mouth open. Okay, that's hard to practice in daily life at your business meetings. Some people do it though. Maybe you've noticed. Everything open, natural, straightforward, ordinary, at ease. Ordinary awareness, naturalness is the way, as it is taught in Zen and in the Mahamudra tradition. Tamagi Shepa, as the great Buddhist pioneer Trungpa Rinpoche called it. Ordinary awareness, everyday awareness. Not special, not dressed up, not radiating lights, not visualizing syllables and deities everywhere. Oh, it must be hard for lamas to drive when they see everything like with 6 arms and 4 legs. Yeah, only madmen, see it like that. Only visionaries. That's not for driving. Meditation and post-meditation, we've talked about this. In meditation, relying more on the view. In post-meditation, playing skillfully with karma, with causation, cause and effect, conditioning, and so forth. So in this practice, the practice of freedom, learning to do an awareness intervention between stimulus and response so we can choose how and when to respond, not just blindly reacting with a knee-jerk reaction in kind, retaliating when criticized or harmed or threatened, and so on. Awareness gives us time between stimulus and response. Mindful anger management, mindful emotional management, and so forth. Very helpful, very useful, even at the basic level. In the Dzogchen sky gazing practice, this openness and awareness practice is joyful and uplifting, energetic. We talked yesterday about the 5 hindrances to meditation and the 10 and so on. We need to antidote those as they arise. So when we're meditating, if we're falling asleep, take a breath and start again. Fresh, vivid, wakeful. It's the quality of awareness, not the quantity that counts. If we're restless, relax, stretch, and start again. Fresh, natural, as it is. If devotion or chant or prayer works for you, take a little moment to chant, pray, start your session again. And then relax into the allowing. Start again with this first step of settling and arriving, and then second, intensifying with some breathing or chant. And then again, releasing, allowing, going into the sky-like meditation of sky gazing, sky space union yoga, Namkai Naljar, sky gazing, openness, awareness, inseparable. Not just with the eyes, the eyeballs gazing, but also the earballs gazing, not pointed this way or that like swivels, like spotlights. Earballs radially aware, and heart ball and mind ball, all just in tune with the clear light of reality. It doesn't just come in our eyes and out of our eyes, but in our ears and in every pore at the same time and out of it. Seeing through all momentary illusory phenomena. Seeing through ourselves, seeing Buddha being Buddha. No separation, no Buddha. Nothing to see and no one to see it. As Buddha said, in hearing there is just hearing, nothing to listen to and no one hearing it. In seeing, just seeing, nothing to see and no one seeing it. It ain't really just nothing. It's really something, ain't it? It's all happening. The magical display, inexpressible, undeniable, rainbow-like display of awareness. Awareness is the alpha and omega, the beginning and the end. Thus we practice an awareness practice, naked awareness practice, Rigpa practice, the essence of Dzogchen. Clear light practice, the essence of Mahamudra. From the view of the great perfection of everything just left as it is, view like the sky, without center or periphery, comes the natural meditation of non-meditation, letting be, just being. Getting used to that view, that possibility, that openness, that we can leave things as they are. Getting used to leaving it as it is, undoing the habit of overdoing. And from that comes the natural proactive Buddha activity. The 10 Panaceian virtues, paramitas of the Bodhisattva, seva, service, which we'll hear about more from Mirabai Bush tomorrow, and so forth. Taking it into the world where the rubber really meets the road on the spiritual path. View like the sky. Meditation like unshakable, immovable, like a mountain, regardless what falls on it or grows on it. Grounded, centered. Thich Nhat Hanh calls it solid, stable, solid. I like that. Usually we say don't be too solid, but that means don't be too frozen. Solid, like that's solid, right on, pump. And from that comes inexhaustible Buddha activity, like the waves, according to karmic conditions and circumstances, not pushed by our own ego needs and agenda, not compulsive, egocentric activity, but proactive responsiveness, Buddha activity. The view, meditation, and action, the ground, path, and fruit of the great perfection. Not deviating into those things we talked about yesterday, I think it was. Who can remember? Maybe it was this morning. Like comparing, like waiting, like hoping for things to happen or fearing that they won't. Not letting go too early of our practice, not letting go too late. Not overlooking what's right here every moment. The nowness practice, as the Lama said today. Where else can you practice except now? We don't have to make such a big deal out of the goddamn now. It's always now or never. It's not such a big deal, yet it's the only deal. It's the real deal. But we don't have to make such a big deal. Oh, be here now. No, not me. I'm not a Buddhist. Okay, good luck. Be happy. That's part of the teachings on the introduction to the nature of mind. We only think we're lost in the past. It's nowness awareness that's remembering or nostalgically dwelling on the past. It's nowness awareness planning and fantasizing. It's all nowness awareness. That's direct pointing at the nowness awareness, the nature of mind right now from the tradition. The 3 times, past, present, and future, are all the nowness awareness. The 4th time, the shicca, the ascendant time that bisects every moment of horizontal time, moving from past, present, and future. That it's now and now and now and now and now. This moment, the only moment, as we say in the meditative instruction. This breath, the only breath that we need to be with. Looking at the breath in concentrated meditation, becoming the breath, being the breath. Looking at the candle flame, becoming flame, just being breath, like a swinging door, unhinged in space, no frame. Swinging door, opening and closing. Are you doing it? Why don't you stop for the next 10 minutes and see? It's happening, it's being done through us. Let go and let Buddha do it, as they say. So we've talked quite a bit this week about all these things. I'd like to open the floor now to questions. Also, we had a lot of teaching today. We had Daniela's talk this morning about upeksha, or equanimity, spiritual detachment, evenness, upeksha, one of the 4 heartitudes, the 4 boundless qualities. We had Rinpoche's talk this afternoon about the food of samadhi and awareness, feeding awareness. Any questions, please? I know Jess wants to hear some more stories, but we'll leave that for her to ask. Yes, Ricky.
Yesterday you talked about us as being the walking dead. And
I said that?
You did. I wrote it down.
Shame on me.
And in the dedication of virtue to universal enlightenment on page 22, it says,
Slow down so everybody can look on it
okay,
and
page
participate
22.
in this learned discussion.
Dedication of virtue to universal enlightenment. It says, so we may free beings from miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death. It seems like this is referring to many levels of attitudes towards death, such as the fear of our own death,
Yes.
the fear of losing someone we love.
Right.
And I wonder if you could elaborate on what you were referring to as us being the walking dead in connection to this prayer.
Of course, this is a translation from a Tibetan prayer, and in Tibetan we call it the demon of death, because everybody fears death, especially their own, but of course the death of loved ones, and also other kinds of death and loss, like the death of your, planet, species, society, culture, people, language, etc., right? But now so that's one of the great fears and sufferings of life, the fear of death and going through the dying process and all that uncertainty and out of controlness and helplessness and pain and so on. But you asked about why I was joking about us being the walking dead. I was thinking actually about my own teacher, Nyoshi Khenpo Rinpoche's poem about how in the 3-year retreat, here's a little story for Jess. Because she's sitting right in front demanding a lot of attention, so I have to give it to her. Also because she's our yoga teacher, we owe her thanks and attention to her requests. In our 3-year retreat, cloister in the woods, Nyoshu Khenpo, after a few weeks, he got a magic marker and a roll of paper towels. We didn't have a lot of, and this was 1980, computers and printers, and there were none. And there was a few notebooks and things. Anyway, he didn't have notebook and paper and anything, just being in the retreat there. So he went in the pantry and got some paper towels and a magic marker. And in Asia, people are big on scrolls and things, kind of like in the old days, the biblical scrolls, the Dead Sea Scrolls, I don't know. The Doobie Brothers scrolls, I don't know. So he got this roll of paper towel and he started with a magic marker, kind of holding it like this, and writing on it in handwritten Tibetan, his great Song of Mindfulness, which is on the bulletin board translated in the reading room. And one of the things he said was, staying in 3-year retreat without practicing mindful awareness, you're just walking around dead zombies. And it goes on with even more pungent things. Maybe you've read that poem. Staying in 3-year retreat without cultivating mindful awareness, you just gather 3 years pile of shit and piss, and so on. So that's what I was thinking about, how awareness is life, and unawareness, the confusion of, what did the Lama say today? Nyumong, the disturbing emotional states of mind that blind us to what's going on is death. That's why, from the Buddhist point of view, awareness is deathless life, and unawareness is lifeless death, like zombies. Walking around but sleepwalking, mindless rather than mindful, like zombies. So sometimes in the meditation you hear me say things like, take a deep breath and refresh the corpse of wakefulness. You know what I'm talking about. You're an old meditator. How long have you been meditating?
30 years. Or so.
Slow learner.
Yeah, very.
I know, you already told me yesterday you've been meditating since 1974. It's very important to be in the moment and not think about all that, as time and all, but the quality of attention and the nowness and the totality of awareness that is, make a hyper jump into another dimension of quality, not just a little more incrementally is better. Like sitting there and trying not to think is not Buddhist meditation, so no matter how you do it, according to Buddhism, how long you do that, it won't bring enlightenment. Or just concentrating is not enough to bring meditation. Like the rifleman, sniper, learning to concentrate, or the cat at the mouse hole, that kind of concentration, that kind of samadhi. It may be food related, but it's not the food of samadhi. that the sutras talk about that can bring liberation with insight, develop a wisdom, self-reflective, self-knowing awareness, and so on. Rigpa awareness. So I think it's very important to make some of these distinctions and really go in the direction of the skillful means of the view-oriented non-meditation, not just any particular technique that can be nailed down and then added up. You know, and we become so often on meditation cushions like corpses. You know, you're sitting there dozing, waiting, you know, trying to stay awake, dozing. Then you look at your watch and go, oh, 15 minutes more. And a little drool comes out. Better get up and do something else, or at least wake yourself up, or start again, or breathe, or stand up, or pat your face, or open your eyes and go, ha! You know, ha! Little tools and techniques so you're not just the Walking Dead, the zombie.
So that Walking Dead also reminded me of a koan that says, who is dragging this corpse around? And I was wondering if
Is that a koan?
That's a koan.
So who is? I haven't heard that
That's a good
joke.
question. Yeah.
Who is?
I didn't know if that was similar to what you
Yeah,
were
who
trying
is?
to get across.
That's exactly what I'm trying to
Yeah,
get across.
okay. Thank
Who is dragging that thing around? Yeah, I know. You don't, now you're saying you don't know, but usually we go through life as if we do know. That's the problem with spurious self-knowledge. I'm like this and I'm like that, and I'm a woman, I'm an American, I'm smart, I'm dumb, I'm young or old, I'm sick, I've been in the Dharma for 40 years. That's too much knowing. Who knows all that? That's the point of koan. Point. Thank you. Questions? By the way, I didn't discuss this with Rinpoche, but if you have any questions for him, this wouldn't be a bad time to ask it, because he's going to leave later or tomorrow morning.
Hi, I have a beginner question.
Good.
When you started practicing, what helped you overcome the obstacles, like the hurdles?
My friends and teachers.
You know what? Like when you run against brick walls, where you either don't want to practice, or while you're practicing, you catch the bait, as you say, and get taken away. What were some of the things that helped you move past that, to move beyond that? Determination, effort. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. My friends and teachers, and I don't know, I'd have to also add some mysterious good karma. I have to, recognize that too in there, with a little gratitude or appreciation and marvel at it. Like what brought you here. I mean, if you think this is a good thing, that is. What brought you here, not just the email or the word of mouth or the train, but some other mysterious good karma, including your health and your having some free time and freedom of religion in this country and, other things we can't even describe. So, again, I'll say what kept me going was my good spiritual friends and kindred spirits on the way, and teachers, and their teaching, their example and their inspiration, and then some study about that of those who have done it in the past, so it didn't just seem like impossible or just a rumor like once one Christ or one Buddha got there, but I met people who seemed to be there, like my teachers in India and the Himalayas, were spiritual friends that were advanced or a little older than me on the path, very helpful. And also, if you want to talk about qualities, I can't really claim the qualities, but it did take some, patience and curiosity, interest, curiosity, patience, forbearance, to keep going and struggle, physical, mental, emotional, situational, dealing with difficulties, illness, whatever. And to try to find the inspiration to keep going. That's what people would say when your energy or your natural interest flags, try to find the inspiration. That's why I like to read some of the mystics or the biographies, or go and listen to some other people who are teaching or something, whatever your inspiration is. Or just go outside and let nature inspire you. Look at the river and the ice flow going back and forth. Have you noticed it actually goes both ways?
Yeah.
I can't figure it out. It's an AC/DC river. Very mysterious.
Thank you very much.
I hope that's helpful. There's probably also some spiritual ambition, or just even ego ambition. Let's not overlook that. Just wanting to become somebody, or get enlightened, or get good at something, or get there. I don't know. It seemed like a goal really worth pursuing, and so that kind of ambition, and let's call it aspiration, to pretty it up, also helps. Yeah, well, I liked the way you said big ball rolling. I was thinking of like a snowball gathering momentum downhill. But in our case, it's more like Sisyphus pushing the rock uphill with its nose, and somehow, I don't know, the hill is greased, or the rock rolls over you every time, or so, whatever, I forget. You never quite get there. But the good news is, as we've learned, there's really nowhere to get. That's kind of, it sort of burns itself out. You start to understand being there while getting there every step of the way. And the mystery of shunyata, or things are not what they seem to be, or emptiness, so-called, reveals the illusion of time and space and our thinking and concepts and ambitions. And there's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and then it's a circle and it's all rainbow. And being here while getting there starts to help lighten the load. So you stop being so pushy. And then somehow, instead of you pushing the rock, you realize that, it's more like the rock rolling over you and picking you up is the snowball, and then it has its own momentum. Then you've gone over the hump. And then it has its own momentum, and then practice carries you. But of course you have to surrender to that, because now remember what's happened to the little you now. You're now part of the snowball. You've been not just run over, but totally crushed into the snowball. Which was not my intention in the beginning. But in the beginning, I wanted to be king of the mountain, right? Not part of an avalanche that I had caused that sweeps all beings along with it downhill. That wasn't my intention, but that's what's happening. As Trungpa Rinpoche said, enlightenment is the greatest disappointment of all. I'm sure he had his own reasons for saying it, not the story that I just made up. But it's a lot to think about. It's not what we think it is. Questions, please. Good question, thank you.
I think I know what being aware of awareness means, but then again, I don't think I really do know what being aware of awareness means.
That's fine. A little knowing, a little not knowing, that's fine. Are you asking what it means, or are you just confessing?
Well, a little bit of both, actually. Is there another way of describing being aware of awareness?
Do you know what awareness of thought means?
Yes.
Okay. Or awareness of breath?
Yes.
Or awareness of hearing, or sound, or feeling?
Yes.
Right. So there are 5 senses, so you can practice mindfulness awareness on each of them. The mind is the 6th. So awareness of thought, then tracing that a little back. Let's say, what if there is no thought? Can you be aware then? Can you be aware between thoughts? So you start to see and this is just finger painting, broad strokes, the underlying continuity, the context rather than the contents. Like real estate is not just about land, it's also about square feet of nothing that are valuable. See what I'm saying? Space is also valuable. Now we're getting more to the awareness of awareness. And our teacher in Common Tuka Oregon, Rinpoche, used to give the example of the empty nature of awareness, or mind nature, is not just like this empty space I just described. It's like sunlit space, illumined with the radiance of clarity, cognizance, awareness, knowingness, and the warmth of empathic compassion. So it's like sunlit space. It's warm, yet clear. So that's awareness of awareness, not just of the furniture in the room, but the square footage itself, the context of all these thoughts and feelings and experiences.
Good.
I hope that's helpful.
Yep.
I like an image that I read in Science. I'm a big a student of these things. I think, I like to read the Reader's Digest kind of science page, if they have one. I don't know. And it said that they've gotten up to 11 or 12 dimensions of space. Space, time, this, that, and, it's unbelievable and curved like this. So I like to meditate on this idea of, not just mirrors facing each other, but space is like these 11 mirrors facing each other. What is reflected there? That's awareness of awareness. The whole universe is reflected there. But if they're all facing each other, what is reflected there? I don't know, this is just a game I play with myself. I wrote a poem about it. That's awareness, aware of awareness. The ladies' bathroom has that? This awareness practice is more like those mirrors are two-way mirrors. One way, in the bathroom, it's one way, but you can see from outside through it. A mind transparent to itself, seeing through yourself and so forth, seeing through illusory appearances. And we're just playing. Questions, please.
Thank you, both of you, for your amazing teachings.
Thank you.
I have a question about deviations. If you could talk about some remedies for agitation, for instance, or would shamatha be a way to actually prepare better for dzogchen meditation, and also a remedy for self-judgment when things are difficult?
You're asking several questions. The straight answer is shamatha, concentrative meditation, shine, is not a preparation for dzogchen. It's a preparation for vipassana, for insight-oriented meditations and analytical meditations. Dzogchen doesn't rely on shamatha because it's the bigger frame. It doesn't rely on clearing the mind first. Awareness of whatever is there. And as for the self-judging, that's a good subject for therapy. Here we're working more generally on not judging or reacting to things, or taking a moment, the awareness of intervention before we respond. So maybe that's a way of looking at it. Befriending yourself and feeling that arise, however you feel it, maybe in your body or, anxiety in your, I don't know, some nervous queasiness in your stomach or constriction in your chest or throat, and feeling it and first noticing it and experiencing it and feeling it before you decide whether it's good or bad or to reject it or cultivate it. You see what I'm saying? So cradling it like a baby and seeing what it is and embracing, befriending that part of yourself that arises. Self-judgment, did you call it? It could really be anything. It could be anger, it could be desire, it could be fear. And then you could also analyze it a little, like what is it? Is it fear or those things? Or you could also look into who is experiencing it. That's a good Dzogchen twist. Who is experiencing it from the Rushen subtle discernment practice of Dzogchen teachings. Self-inquiry, who is experiencing it, so you're turning away from the object towards the subject, which can puncture the pressurized balloon of that discomforting feeling, which is not the goal. The goal is to see through it, not to puncture the balloon, but it could reduce the pressure. You never know. Befriending ourselves is an important part of practice, and that's a big part of the four immeasurables, the four heartitudes, the Brahma Viharas, the loving kindness, Maitri, Metta practice. Befriending those unwanted parts of yourself, for example. Is that helpful? You mentioned agitation. we talk a lot here about relaxing. We begin with the breathing and some chanting and devotion, whatever, so we can relax and soften up and turn our minds toward the Dharma. Agitation is a tough one, but I think you're a big girl. You probably know how to relax yourself some ways. I don't know if you work out or do yoga. Do you do yoga or something?
During the open awareness that one gets distracted. I was using the word agitation, but to mean that...
Yeah, distracted.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a time to, if you can, just notice the awareness of the... First of all, distraction is a label. So it wouldn't... That's already like second or third step. The first step would be to just notice that the mind is, the attention is gone somewhere, like you're starting to, I don't know, look at the colors and, stained glass window and like analyze it and think. So you notice that you're thinking, you're distracted, you're not just sky gazing. You're not resting in awareness, you're becoming aware that you're starting to think and day trip. You're taking a little side trip. So then you come back into the instruction, breathing out and releasing and open and aware and following the out breath as a focus perhaps, and just being aware of the awareness, and so that you come back from the agitated thinking, if you can. If not, you might have to take more gross means, like a deep breath or chant a little or start again to relax. Like I was asking if you do yoga, because everybody does the corpse pose at the end of yoga. It's easier to do that and meditate at the end than the beginning when we're all tense and hurried. So there's a way of doing that in meditation too, with the preliminary chanting and breathing, and then the main practice of naked awareness before we go out singing and praying. And even in the session, the main part of just the naked awareness, we can tune it up as we do with chanting the Vajrasattva mantra, or a little prayer or devotion, or looking into who or what is experiencing, the self-inquiry, or chanting the hung, or doing something to tune it up, and then start again. So I hope that's helpful. A lot of our distraction and agitation is not just thoughts, and feelings as we understand it. There's some part that we don't often talk about here that's maybe energy, that's subtle, that we could tune into. It may be related to what we've been eating or doing or thinking or running, or the coffee we just had, or the sugar we just had, or I don't know, nicotine, things like that, that we could also adjust if we notice that they're bothering us when we practice. Distraction and agitation have many major and minor secondary causes. So we'll end here. Thank you. Have a good night.